Yes, we are live. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this virtual symposium on the need of introducing modern concepts of education or other business like direct selling as part of the academic curriculum. My name is Chetan Bhardwaj and I'm the General Manager of Indian Direct Selling Association. We would like to start first with a disclaimer. We are not saying that efforts are not being taken to update the curriculum. Agencies like AICTE, the All India Council for Technical Education, and the UGC, they are doing phenomenal work. They are doing proactively to keep the curriculum updated with the modern needs. However, the issue is that the business scenario in the world is changing so rapidly that the academic world needs to really fasten up its pace so that both the business world and the academic world go hand in hand, go parallel to each other. I'll just quote this with an example. I have been a student of Delhi University, and back in my graduation days, the language of Pascal was introduced in my course. And by that time, already C and C++ were taken, major presence in the market. So academic world, we believe in today's era has a big role to play. In fact, I would say it has got a role even bigger than that of the corporate world. So we need to ensure that the young generation, which is now going to, graduate from their colleges and from the institutes, they are deemed job ready by the industry. This was the main inspiration behind coming up with this symposium. We would like to understand from the academic world what they feel about it. And we are very fortunate to have a panel which consists of subject matter experts on this topic. So with this note, I start the proceedings of the day and I invite Shri Jitendra Jagota, the Secretary of IDSA, to welcome the panelists and deliver the welcome address. Mr. Jitendra Jagota.
Yeah. Thank you, Chetan. So good morning and a big hello to everyone. Welcome to today's edition of the webinar series dedicated on the subject of making direct selling as part of academic curriculum. So first of all, many thanks to all those who have taken out their precious time to join today's webinar. So this webinar is extremely significant, as Chetan just mentioned, because and that is why we have with us esteemed panelists from different universities and institutions to enlighten us with a valuable thought on the subject. So we have with us Professor R. Hariharan, Advisor, Policy and Academic Planning Bureau, AICTE, Shri Hem Kumar Pandey, former Secretary, Department of Consumer Affairs, Professor Bijon Mishra, the Advisor to Government of Odisha and Honorary Professor at National Law University, Odisha. Dr. Kamal Kant Vashist, Associate Professor and Director E-Learning at Sholini University. Dr. Rupa Johari, Assistant Professor with Bharati College, Delhi University. Dr. Deep Lakshmi, Assistant Professor with PSGR Krishnamal College of Women, Coimbatore. And my fellow colleague at IDSA, Rini Sanyal, Rajat Banerjee, and Vivek Katoj. And of course, not to mention Chetan Bhardwaj. On behalf of IDSA and all participants, I extend my gratitude and warm welcome to all the panelists. We are into this sixth session of this webinar series, and we have received an overwhelming response from our audience, which is so encouraging. It is wonderful to witness dedicated audience who are following this initiative of IDSA. The participation and response of our viewers is ever so exciting and motivating, making this webinar series a grand success. The tremendous response of the audience also suggests that it was indeed necessary to come up with such an effort to create the much needed buzz about direct selling in the country. We are confident that the session conducted so far has clarified several myths about direct selling. At the same time, has also been able to establish the requisite understanding about the business model of direct selling. We have been fortunate to have participation from the renowned name of direct selling that has further strengthened the credibility of IDSA in the country. In the last session, our international panelists representing countries like USA, UAE, Australia, Malaysia shared information about direct selling scenario in their respective regions, which has been a vital knowledge for the Indian audience. while the first couple of months of the lockdown in the country was really a challenging phase for direct selling sector, as well as most of the businesses and industry, however, came out very rebound pretty well after unlock versions were announced. So the spirit of direct selling combined with embracing technology advancement has really shown up how direct selling can really make difference in the industry. So the direct selling entity have been able to beat the temporary downtrend, and most of the companies are back to normalcy. So the lockdown period has opened new channel of communication of direct selling business, as the direct sellers have been able to promote their business through digital platforms. This is so encouraging at the time where physical movements have been restricted on most of the country. And yet we are witnessing an increased demand in direct selling business, which is an indication that the business is limited to physical modes rather than effective communication medium have gone to add value to the existing ecosystem and further boost the confidence of the industry. Let us hope that the coming months bring more happiness and cheers for direct sellers. I once again thank you all for joining us today and express my sincere gratitude to all guests for gracing their occasion with their presence. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jagota. I would now request Shrimati Nidhi Sanyal, Chairperson of IDSA, to say a few words. Nidhi Sanyal.
Yeah, thank you, Chetan. Good morning, all. It is really a pleasure to be among all of you in another session of Direct Talk. Today, many people are watching us live through the IDSA's Facebook live session. At IDSA, we are trying to bring together all important aspects one needs to know about direct selling. And this particular Direct Talk webinar series is specifically designed to spread awareness and knowledge about direct selling and the reach out to the mass. Of the various initiatives that IDSA has undertaken over the years, this one specific is aimed at sharing knowledge about direct selling through experts and authorities like you. I sincerely believe that the takeaways of this session will be of immense help to many of the viewers. The timing of this symposium could not have been better, as the World Federation of Direct Selling Association, that is WFDSA, has recently released the Global Statistical Survey 2019, the results of which are really very fascinating and encouraging to us. I take this opportunity to share some of the interesting facts from the report. In 2019, India has been ranked 15th among the top 20 direct selling markets, whereas we were ranked 19th in 2018. So here is a big change. India has recorded highest, that is 12.1% year-on-year growth among top 20 countries. India has the highest CAGR, that is 16.3% among the top 20 countries. In terms of number of direct sellers, India is ranked 6th among the top 20 countries with 57.5 lakh distributors. The WFDSA report is a strong indicator of the fact that the Indian direct selling sector has been successfully grown, beating the so-called economic slowdown, etc. The increasing number of people opting for direct selling is a testimony to that. These are great signs and encouraging for the Indian direct selling sector. It has witnessed an upward trend since the notification of the model guidelines in 2016 by Ministry of Consumer Affairs, which has provided the sector with regulatory stability and also brought about a definitional clarity and much needed recognition for the direct selling sector. Another important aspect, in the beginning, direct selling was considered as an alternate source of income. However, in the last few years, the data shows that more and more people are now taking up direct selling as a primary and full-time career. Similar impact can be seen in Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities as well. Teamwork and coordination are the most important component of any business, and direct selling is no different. Direct sellers have been the driving force for the success of the sector. Our impressive show and strong global footprint are all a result of the sheer hard work and determination of the direct sellers, who have been the dedicated ambassadors of this wonderful business. I take this opportunity to laud each of your efforts. Today, we'll be discussing the importance of direct selling from an academic perspective. Direct selling business model has made its journey and touched many lives. Many of us have had some direct selling experience, either as a consumer or as a direct seller. Therefore, we feel that there is a need to introduce the courses or modules on direct selling at academic level and colleges and universities to understand these business nitty-gritties and its various nuances. I'm hopeful that our eminent speakers will enlighten the audience about the much needed impetus and add more value to the direct selling business. I'm sure the audience is as much eager as I am to hear the opinion of our panelists. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ma'am Sanil. I would now like to welcome Shri Hem Pandeyji, and before that, I would just like to quickly share a brief introduction about him. Shri Hem Pandeyji is a 1982 batch IAS officer who superheaded the Department of Consumer Affairs as part of his last assignment with the Government of India. The biggest step towards formalization of direct selling industry in India, is often termed as the release of direct selling guidelines in the year 2016. Shri Hem Pandeyji has been the inspiring force, and he led the whole exercise from the front. It was because of his hard work and commitment that direct selling industry has grown exponentially ever since the release of the guidelines. I would just like to quickly share a brief fact with our audience to share the importance of the guidelines. 3 years before the release of guidelines, that is in 2014, 15 and 16, the CAGR of the industry was 5.5%. And immediate 3 years after the release of the guidelines, that is 2017, 18 and 19, the CAGR was 12.5%. So you can very well imagine the kind of importance the guidelines has given to the industry, the thrust that the guidelines has given to the industry. So I welcome Shri Hem Pandeyji and would like to request him to share his thoughts on the subject. Sir.
Thank you, Chetan. Thank you, IDSA. All the learned friends who are there today, and I guess quite a few participants. Already the number shows 165 participants are already there. It's very good attendance. So there's a buzz about direct selling in the country. Friends, I will slightly digress because this is the COVID time. And, we had been dealing with management of the house, economics. We have been doing economics without studying the house. That is ecology. Ecology is the study of the house. We never studied the planet in its entirety and started managing it. And today we are suffering, I would have loved this meeting. We would have all been together, shaking hands, meeting, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, sitting at our home, we are doing. Nature doesn't like this. They would have loved us to go out. At the same time, today, why I am contextualizing this is that, the symposium, the webinar today, the focus is whether direct selling can also be part of the curricula, our curriculum in the various universities and colleges. And I think we'll hear about that. Where are we on that? Whether it's already part of it or not, the direct selling. But business acumen, direct selling, like any other business, needs a kind of leader, a leadership who can face challenges, who can be, focused, who can learn from mistakes. We always hear success stories. When I was doing my master's in business administration, we had a particular paper subject, strategic entrepreneurship. And we used to hear about successful entrepreneurs. See, no one talks about those who did not succeed and why they didn't succeed. So similarly, I think that should, so the one who learns from failures would ultimately become successful. So we should, so it's a right time in a dynamic world, and I hope this temporary phase in our life will go away, and we will try and study nature more, our house more, so that we can manage it better. At the same time, businesses also, I guess it's a high time, businesses also have to look beyond their bottom lines. It has to be beyond the shareholders, your commitment to shareholders. I think that the need of the hour is stakeholders commitment, and all the beyond. It's not only, the people who are your shareholders. So I think that corporations have a big, huge responsibility. And towards this direction, businesses in general, if it can be part of, our academic curricula, there are specialized courses. And I guess Chetan was mentioning about Delhi University. I was seeing, I think Delhi University already had a center for direct selling, I guess. And there must be many more institutions across the country who are giving this specialized training. But some traits we inherit, some nature plus nurture. Some traits we inherit, and some traits we acquire. And I think the nurture of the kind. So first, you really need to the kind of business that direct selling is. And Chetan, thank you so much for taking me back to the year 2016. And I guess I'm here today because of those guidelines which were long pending. And I am glad to note that the CAGR, the growth of direct selling in India went up. I think about 15 odd states have already issued direct selling guidelines as part of, and I guess very soon the new Consumer Protection Act with the mention of direct selling in its definition. And I guess you have been part and parcel of the rules that will, bring direct selling to a new direction in our country. So it's the right time. It's the right time. There are of course challenges of fly-by-night operators in the name of direct selling, in the name of quick money. So the communication is very important, and I hope business schools do teach that, but if it is part of the curricula in normal academic courses. I do remember when I was in the Consumer Affairs department in 2016 and 17, we had discussed getting consumer empowerment, consumer rights, information about consumer in the syllabus of schools, and I guess NCERT or there are chapters already. I guess AICT person who is there today, they might talk about that, or it's already about consumer empowerment, consumer rights. It's already there. And I have been repeatedly saying, out of the 6 rights of consumer, direct selling directly takes care of 4 rights. I think you are the one industry, one business where out of the 6, out of the 6, the one that government handles is redressal through its 3-tier system: National Commission, State Commission, and district commissions, district fora. and choice. Obviously, when you bring your, the direct sellers build their brands, you want customers to remain loyal to your particular brands that you build through a relationship. So choice, of course, is not there, but remaining four rights of education, of hearing, of, informing, and of safety. These four rights: safety, information, education, and, so these four rights, direct selling, you get in touch, your distributors get in touch with the consumers repeatedly. They show the product. They tell that we've been using product. The challenge, of course, for the direct selling is always, if there are no products and services that direct selling companies are handling, then it goes into a different loop. And with the subject of internal trade now being dealt by Department of Promotion of Industries and Internal Trade, DPIIT. So you will have to settle between the two departments, Consumer Affairs, who will, with the new Consumer Protection Act, will help you more, and of course, DPIIT. So it's a right time when direct selling in our country is looking forward. Academic institutions may come forward as an open book. Never ever misguide that one can make a lot of money here. It's a most challenging business, but if done in a correct manner, in a transparent manner, in an ethical manner, that of course all the businesses, and if you take care of all the stakeholders, not only your own income and your company's income, I think things will look better. And this is what we need from the academic institutions to teach us as direct sellers. So thank you for the opportunity and all the very best for the success of this endeavor. IDSA, long live IDSA, long live direct selling companies in our country. I would love to see it a 10 billion industry very soon, which is around $2 billion today. I have been, I throw a challenge again to IDSA to go as soon as possible for by 2025. But when we become 5 trillion, you become $10 billion at least in our country. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you so much, Shreem Panditji. And I absolutely second your opinion, sir. As much as we would have loved to, organize this symposium the traditional way, the physical way, and welcome all of you there. But I guess this is a new normal now, and we have to start learning to live with it. Moving on, sir, I would like to welcome our chief guest for the day, Professor R. Hariharan. Professor R. Hariharan is presently serving as an advisor to the Policy and Academic Planning Bureau of AICT, the All India Council for Technical Education. Professor Hariharan has a glorious career that spans over 35 years, out of which he has spent close to 15 years in teaching. He has also been a member of boards and committees in several universities as well as government departments. Just to share some quick facts with you about Professor Hariharan, he has published more than 75 research papers in national and international journals and conferences. He has published around 36 books and has prepared 9 reports. He is a life member and fellow in about 15 registered professional societies. Professor Hariharan has traveled all across the world, I think in over 30 countries, and carries a good understanding of the global perspective of keeping the curriculum updated with the needs of modern day business world. So without delaying any further, I would request Professor Hariharan to kindly enlighten us the gathering with his words. Sir. Sir, you are muted. So, yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah, very good morning to all of you, members of IDSA and other my fellow speakers. Before I start, I would like to say that we have to fight this great pandemic, COVID-19 corona. Apart from making a global disaster, it has taught us many lessons, including cleanliness, hygiene, social distancing, and other self-disciplines. Well, the topic selected for today's symposium is very apt and important. There is a dire need to introduce this subject, direct selling, into the curriculum. I also used to get some applications and proposals from different types of universities to introduce this direct selling into the curriculum and give a special name in the management education. This will perfectly fit into the management education. You can give right from a certificate course, PG, postgraduate certificate in management, postgraduate diploma in management, and as well as a full MBA. A full MBA can also be given. A couple of institutes have approached us, but as you know, this curriculum development is a long process. First of all, you must convince the concept of this self-selling into the minds of people who formulate this curriculum. We as a regulatory body, we are responsible for the management education in the country, right from certificate programs to the MBA degree programs. First of all, you have to convince, as I told you, to the organizers or to the authorities that this degree will have job opportunities in the market. So we are worried, suppose if we give an MBA with direct marketing or direct selling, whatever, digital marketing, whatever term you call it, those candidates after passing out should be placed or should get a job. That is the major thing. But then as far as my knowledge goes, from the point of view of marketing, the concept of direct selling and the door delivery has gained importance. Instead of going to the market to get essential goods, the goods and services come to your doorsteps. That is the biggest advantage of direct selling. But there are other disadvantages also. So if you say, when you talk about the advantages, there are drawbacks also. That is, the major drawback is the lack of confidence among buyers regarding the authenticity of the sellers, sometimes of the products also. But I feel that IDSA is doing excellent job in acting as a bridge between the stakeholders, especially the common man, and as well as the different startup companies and big companies. So we should try to build up confidence among buyers. So as IDSA is doing, is a growing organization, an excellent organization, helping individual members of direct selling, it should take up the following, in my opinion. The concept of direct selling should reach the common man. That is, we should devise a plan to popularize this concept. And you must also say that there is a lot of difference between the pyramid selling, that is chain selling. You introduce this member, you will get this amount of money and all that. And people think that if you approach with the product to a seller, to an individual, he will think that, you are making money and you are making me member and all such things. But that concept, you should remove from the mind of the common man, that the product is directly coming to you and without any extra charges. And you may even sometimes give discounts to them. And the confidence of purchasing the material from the seller should be emphasized in the minds of the common man. If you do that, then direct selling will be a great success. I think already it is a multi-billion dollar market, and still further we have to, the IDSA should conduct a plan to popularize this concept. And you must also convince the curriculum devisers or planners that there is a lot of job opportunities in this sector. That is, you make the youth, that is number one, and you make the youth aware of this, and then the image of this will go up, and definitely it will reach the prosperity. I am 100% sure that if the youth in the minds of the youth, if it is understood by them that direct selling has a huge market, and they can come up in life like anything, then automatically they will opt for this course if we introduce this one. What you can do is, then the question comes to how this can be made as an academic course. I'll just briefly explain to you. What you have to do is, first of all, you must, as I told you, convince that there is a need for the course. Only there is a need for, after generating a huge amount of graduates or postgraduates at the undergraduate level and the postgraduate level, if you introduce this direct selling, what will be their position as far as their job is concerned? That the need you must first convince to the people. Then second, you must prepare a blueprint of what are the theory or the subjects that you expect the graduate traits, that is communication skills, what are all the other different selling skills, other different skills that the graduate is supposed to know after completing the course. Suppose, for example, a student after passing the +2 examination goes into an undergraduate course of direct selling. What is he expected? What is the thing that is expected out of the student after completing that degree or after getting that degree at the undergraduate level? At the postgraduate level, at say MBA, what are all the traits that the students ought to have gained after undergoing this course? These things you have to list down. Then the number of subjects to be taught in 2 years, how many subjects to be taught in 2 years, which are the subjects to be taught in first semester, second semester, all such things. And what will be the difference between a diploma level course and a degree level course? All these have to be discussed thoroughly before we introduce this one. Then the evaluation system, whether to take only this paper pen examination, online examination, or practical examination, field work, thesis writing, all such things have to be incorporated into the curriculum. Then finally, it has to be made available in all the university. That is more important. All university and institutes offering MBA and PhD. See, it is not that we introduce a curriculum or we introduce a new course, MBA digital marketing or MBA direct selling or BBA direct selling and all such things. But it has to percolate to the college. It has to reach a small college in a small village. It should reach. And University Grants Commission, UGC, should also join AICTE while framing the curriculum. We'll have experts from UGC as well. But this college people, for example, we devise a course like MBA digital marketing or MBA direct selling. Then who will teach this subject? And we have to train the ground level teachers to teach the subjects. For that, we have to take stock of how many teachers are there in India who can teach direct selling. And all such things we have to take care. And it's a long process. But when we start the process, we'll take care of all these points. And IDSAA can also work towards few things which I would like to say. But then there is no legal sanctity to the direct selling in our country as my knowledge goes, if I'm right. If I'm wrong, you can correct me. And it should work towards the legal sanctity so that, some sort of a legislation is there. It should work hard to bring a legislation in this regard. Particularly if you start in one state, it will automatically be followed by other states as well. And IDSAA should also work hard to reach the concept of this direct selling to the common man. So unless this concept is taken to the common man, in order to have a win-win situation, the growth of this direct selling will not be that fast as we expected. But fortunately or unfortunately, this COVID has helped us to sell these products to day-to-day. To directly to the buyers. And with this, I don't have much knowledge about this direct selling, but curriculum development and to introduce this direct selling, if you have any further queries, you can always write to me. At the AICTE, we are very happy to introduce job-oriented programs. This year also, we have introduced only courses in emerging areas. We have not given permission to start the conventional courses like civil, mechanical, electrical, even computer science. So we have introduced like artificial intelligence, blockchain, IoT, virtual reality, things like that, which will have more job opportunities. We have introduced from this year. We have given permission only for those courses and not for any conventional courses. So we are ready to work to capture the job market and to do the service to the youth of this country, because as you know, India is the youngest populated country in the whole world. So if you capture, if you nurture the concept of direct selling in the minds of the youths, then it will become a great success. So with this, before I finish, I'm reminded of an LIC agent in my old age, in my earlier ages, who used to sell LIC policy, who still today, as far as my knowledge goes, the best direct seller, if I'm right. So with this few words, I would like to congratulate all the speakers and the participants who have registered to listen to us, and have a safe living. Take care, and let us fight Corona and make this world free from all the diseases. Happy and be safe. Thank you for the opportunity given.
Thank you so much, sir. Like you said, you don't have much knowledge about direct selling, but it never looked to us from your address actually. You touched very technical points like the goods coming directly to your doorstep, consumers, the need to install confidence, how to distinguish a genuine company and a fly-by-night operator. And absolutely, sir, we second your opinion that the concept of direct selling should reach common man. Once we are able to do that, then there is absolutely no looking back for the industry. And as IDSA, we have been doing it for the past 25 years now, sir. And just to update you, sir, like you rightly said that we have to work towards providing some sort of legal sanctity to the industry. I'm happy to update with the forum that, since the passage of guidelines in 2016, we have now reached to a stage where the direct selling has found its mention in the Consumer Protection Act 2019, which is going to be implemented soon. I think there are some news in the media recently that from 20th July onwards, the provisions of Consumer Protection Act 2019 are going to be enforced. And under the purview of the Consumer Protection Act, very soon we are going to have the rules for the direct selling. So that would be a perfect and legitimate set of rules for the industry, and your concern about providing legitimacy will be solved. I once again thank you, sir. Thank you for taking out time from your busy schedule and giving us an opportunity to hear from you, sir.
Thank you.
On, sir. I would like to now invite Professor Bejon Mishra. And before that, I would like to just quickly share with our viewers a brief about Professor Mishra. Professor Mishra has a professional career that spans over 45 years, out of which, nearly 33 years have been in the field of consumer education and advocacy. He has been a volunteer in the consumer movement since 1983 and was a key figure in the entire process involving enactment of Consumer Protection Act 1986.
Chetan, we are running out of time.
Sir, for over 80 years, Professor Mishra is involved in developing strategies. He has been a consultant to UNDP, UNICEF, WHO, World Bank, British Council. I can, the list is endless. I can keep on naming the agencies. He's currently an advisor to Government of Odisha, and he's an honorary professor at National Law University, Odisha. He is also a governing body member in Quality Council of India, a board member in National Accreditation Board for Hospitals and Healthcare Products, etc., etc. So, as Professor Mishra said, we are running out of time. So, sir, over to you. Would like to hear from you, sir.
Chetan, thank you very much and good afternoon, namaskar सबको जो लोग भी इस कार्यक्रम को देख रहे हैं, and I'm very happy to be invited by IDSA to this consultation today. Without wasting any time, because I've got 10 minutes with me and I will restrict myself to 10 minutes as allotted to me. Thank God 12 बजे हमको नहीं कहा गया बोलने के लिए. मेरा टाइम था 12 बजे, 12 नहीं बज गया, तो हम बहुत खुश हैं. हम ये कहेंगे, and I will stick to the point, हमारे बहुत प्रिय मित्र, our friend Hem Pandey ji is here, who was with Government of India as Secretary of Consumer Affairs, जिसने हम लोगों का बहुत लॉन्ग टर्म एक ड्रीम था कि कुछ एक कानून ले आया जाए कंज्यूमर के लिए, उस पे उन्होंने एक गाइडलाइन निकाला और वो गाइडलाइन हर एक स्टेट को अनिवार्य हुआ है कि वो उसको अडॉप्ट करे। अब लेकिन कई स्टेट्स किए हैं, कई स्टेट्स नहीं किए हैं, क्योंकि उनके पास भी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल राइट है नहीं करने का। लेकिन जैसे चेतन ने कहा, and I want to congratulate Rini, Jitender, Rajat, everybody from IDSA, everybody from IDSA for giving support to the consumer movement in bringing the Consumer Protection Act 2019, which is coming into force from the 20th of this month. Rules already public ho gaya hai, rules aa chuka hai, और as you very rightly said, direct selling उस पे लिखा हुआ है as part of the law. अब guidelines हो या ना हो, हर एक स्टेट को the moment they accept the rules, the direct selling becomes legal in our country. Let me put it this way. So I want to congratulate IDSA and all the people who are involved with this movement in terms of protecting the rights of the consumers. आप लोग ने इसका एक जो ड्रीम था हम लोगों का वो आप ले आए हो, and 2019 का जो कानून है, it is absolutely a game changer, let me tell you, because you will find a Central Consumer Protection Authority जिसको बहुत सारे powers दिया जा रहा है, और state governments को भी बहुत सारे powers दिया जा रहा है, take suo motu case, to take different things. अब आ गया जो आज का टॉपिक है. Without wasting any time, I think universities must bring out an optional program, whether it is in the management faculty or institute or wherever, but direct selling का एक program, एक certificate course, एक कुछ भी एक छोटे से रूप से optional करके लोगों को ये देना चाहिए जो colleges में है, क्योंकि अभी भी हमारे देश के youth को ये नहीं मालूम है कि direct selling can become a very well sustainable entrepreneurship involvement in terms of earning. And we don't need to create job seekers. We need to create job creators. And there cannot be better than direct selling business in the country. So as the topic is the need of introducing modern concepts of business like direct selling as part of academic curriculum, my answer is yes. और हम जिन university से involved हैं, like I am an alumni of Banaras Hindu University, हम वहां से शुरू करेंगे, हम BHU से शुरू करेंगे, क्योंकि I am a alumni of the first batch of the management course from Banaras Hindu University. So I would like to engage with the director of the Management Institute to start this program as an optional program. I will start with the National Law University Odisha. Maybe they will build out a curriculum. Now, last I want to tell you what are the methods and how IDSA can play a role. There is a huge chapter 5 devoted to mediation in this new law of 2019. हर एक स्टेट में मीडिएशन सेल्स खोलने का है, और हम सोचते हैं कि इस मीडिएशन सेल्स में केवल लॉयर्स नहीं, नॉन लॉयर्स भी इन्वॉल्व होंगे, मैनेजमेंट स्टूडेंट्स, सोशियोलॉजी स्टूडेंट्स, मेनी स्टूडेंट्स शुड गेट इन्वॉल्व इन सेटिंग अप दिस मीडिएशन सेल्स. क्योंकि मीडिएशन सेल्स का जरूरत इसलिए है क्योंकि डायरेक्ट सेलिंग में प्रोडक्ट को आप हाथ से नहीं छू सकते हो बिगिनिंग. सो देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ गुड रिफंड पॉलिसी, एक्सचेंज पॉलिसी. हम जानना चाहेंगे कि डायरेक्ट सेलिंग IDSA कैसे इस पॉलिसीज को ले आएंगे. आपके कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट है जिसमें आप एथिकल प्रैक्टिसेस को प्रमोट करते हो, तो हम ऑलवेज चाहेंगे कि इस ढंग के मीडिएशन सेल से हम लोग को रेजोल्यूशंस लाना चाहिए इन केस देयर इज अ डिस्प्यूट. और सारे डिस्प्यूट्स कोर्ट में नहीं जाना चाहिए. इन माय व्यू इट इज लॉन्ग ड्रॉन, एक्सपेंसिव, लीगल एक्सपेंडिचर इज वेरी हेवी. आप लोगों को मालूम है, जो लोग डायरेक्ट सेलर्स हैं, कितने आप लॉयर्स पे खर्चा करते हो, आपको खुद को मालूम. उस एक्सपेंडिचर को कम कीजिए ताकि कम से कम पैसे में अच्छे गुणवत्ता वाले प्रोडक्ट्स हम कंज्यूमर तक पहुंचा सके. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. हमारे जितने डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स हैं, जितने लोग इन्वॉल्व हैं डायरेक्ट सेलिंग के साथ हमारे देश में, वो लोग सब बहुत टैलेंटेड लोग हैं, उन लोग सब एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं, उन लोग सब के अंदर में एक जील है. उनको एक सर्टिफिकेशन दीजिए, एक ऐसा सर्टिफिकेशन दीजिए कि दे नो व्हाट इज डायरेक्ट सेलिंग. उनके लिए प्रोग्राम्स बनाइए कॉलेजेस में, यूनिवर्सिटीज में, ताकि ये सारे जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स हैं वो एक सर्टिफाइड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स हो जाए। क्वालिटी काउंसिल के माध्यम से एक हम लोगों के बोर्ड है, नेशनल बोर्ड, NABT, नेशनल बोर्ड फॉर एजुकेशन एंड ट्रेनिंग। आपके जितने इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, फैकल्टीज हैं, यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं, NABET का एक्रीडिशन लीजिए, नेशनल एक्रीडिशन बोर्ड जो क्वालिटी काउंसिल के अंडर में है। हम लोग ऑलवेज एज ए कंज्यूमर क्या देखना चाहते हैं कि प्रोडक्ट सही हो, जो व्यापार कर रहा है वो सही ढंग से कर रहा है, अनएथिकल नहीं है, और उसको सर्टिफाई कौन कर रहा है, एक कॉम्पिटेंट बॉडी कर रहा है। So IDSA should get engaged with Quality Council of India, should get engaged with universities like Banaras University, National Law University of Odisha, and I'm there. And IDSA को बोलने का जरूरत नहीं है, रीनी जानती है, सब लोग जानते हैं कि जब भी आप लोग हमको बुलाए हैं, जब भी आप लोग कोई भी मदद मांगे हैं, हम आगे बढ़ चढ़कर आप लोगों को मदद की है, provided it protects the consumer. If it protects the consumer, Bijon Mishra is there. I'll always be there. करिकुलम होना चाहिए, और जिस ढंग से हरिहरन साहब ने बताया है कि ये करिकुलम डेवलप करने का एक जरूरत है, हम आज से शुरू कर देंगे इस करिकुलम को डेवलप करने के लिए। कोई ना कोई यूनिवर्सिटी में ये करिकुलम डेवलप होके UGC के पास भी जाएगा, सारे लोगों के पास जाएगा, ताकि हम लोग एक कार्यक्रम शुरू कर सके। इसी से हम खत्म करना चाहते हैं। उड़ीसा में कई नई चीज हो रहे हैं, हमारे पास ऑलरेडी कई क्वेश्चंस आए हैं जिसका हम आंसर दिए हैं। हम IDSA के थ्रू आप लोग सबको बोलना चाहते हैं कि हमारा दरवाजा 24 घंटा खुला हुआ है, हमारा फोन 24 घंटा चलता है। आप हमको कांटेक्ट कीजिए, हम आपका सब सवाल का जवाब देंगे। और हम ये चाहते हैं कि ऐसा काम हो कि हम लोग सब लोग मिलकर एक डायरेक्ट सेलिंग का माहौल क्रिएट कर सके, जो चाइना से भी बेटर हो, जो चाइना से भी बेटर ग्रोथ हो, और लोगों को, यूथ को एक दिशा मिले। थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर गिविंग मी दिस टाइम. I hope I have completed exactly in 10 minutes. So I have completed in 10 minutes. Thank you, Chetan.
Thank you so much, sir. And it's always, a really a pleasure to listen from you, to listen from your experience, to listen from your vast knowledge. And you rightly said, sir, protection of the consumer. This should be the mantra of everyone, of IDSA, of all our member companies and everyone associated with the industry. And I think, sir, you rightly touched on a point that, this is the era of job providers and not job seekers. And that's why I think direct selling is there to fulfill the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji also, who has been promoting this vision on different occasions from time to time. And absolutely, sir, ये आपकी बातों से जो मुझे समझ में आता है, सर, डायरेक्ट सेलिंग, why is there a need to introduce, why we are saying this, because डायरेक्ट सेलिंग अगर आप देखें सर, ये कि बहुत ही जिसे कहते हैं वाइड सेक्टर है सर। यूजुअली हम लोग पढ़ते हैं 4 P's ऑफ मार्केटिंग है प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड इंडस्ट्री के लिए, एंड देन 7 P's ऑफ मार्केटिंग हो जाते हैं सर्विस बेस्ड इंडस्ट्री के लिए। डायरेक्ट सेलिंग एक ऐसा सेक्टर है जिसमें कहीं ना कहीं प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड इंडस्ट्री और सर्विस बेस्ड इंडस्ट्री का समन्वय है। आप इसे प्योरली प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड इंडस्ट्री की तरह ट्रीट नहीं कर सकते, आप इसे प्योरली सर्विस इंडस्ट्री की तरह ट्रीट नहीं कर सकते। सो दैट इज व्हाई IDSA is saying that this is going to be a very interesting field of study whenever it is going to be introduced. And we are quite hopeful, sir, that with your blessings and with your cooperation, we should be able to do it in the near future. So moving on, now we have, let's move to the core academics who have done, their degrees and their expertise lies in direct selling. I would like to invite Dr. Kamalkant Vashisht. Dr. Vashisht is an associate professor in the Faculty of Management Science and Liberal Arts at Shulini University. Now he has driven several praiseworthy initiatives at Shulini University, and he was also, chosen among top 50 teacher innovators in India by Minister of Human Resources Development in 2017 for an online course which he started titled Contemporary Entrepreneurial Business Models. So Dr. Vashisht completed his PhD in direct selling and is widely recognized as the academic phase of the industry. So since we are already running short of time, so without any delays, back to you, Dr. Vashisht. You can share your views with us.
Thanks for the opportunity, Chetan ji. And it has been really a delight. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Perfect. Thank you. So my screen got frozen for a while, I thought. So it's a great opportunity to be speaking amongst you, and it has been a pleasure So prior to this, so it's been a pleasure to be a part of this symposium, and the first symposium wherein we are talking about introduction of academia into the introduction of direct selling into the academia, because that has been the passion that I've been living with since last like 10 years, and since I've become a part of the academic, so I have a corporate and academician, and so I'll share the screen, so without wasting much time, and then we'll speak on as we move on. So just give me 1 second. So is my screen visible? The screen is visible, Chetanji? Perfect, Rini ma'am, thank you. And so again, I'll second Bijon sir that I'll try to finish it within 10 minutes. And so the presentation that I've set for the day is Academia, Direct Selling and National Objectives. How Academia, Direct Selling and National Objectives go hand in glove. So, and as introduced, I am Kamal Kant Vasisht, and I'm fortunate to be to have done my PhD in direct selling, specifically in network marketing. And I work as an associate professor at Shuli University. It's one of the most dynamic and young, vibrant universities situated in the foothills of Himalayas. And we'll talk more about it. I also work as director e-learning over here. And plus there are several other initiatives like I'm the head of for Institutional Innovation Council that has been set up in the university. I'm also the coordinator for MOOCs in the university, and several online initiatives I handle over here. So the agenda that I'll be taking for the day is, so first thing is the assessment of space for direct selling in academia, because as Bijon sir was also saying, and Hariharanji was also saying, all the delegates, Rini ma'am, so we all agreed to it that every industry, the growth of every industry in a country or across the globe depends actually upon the trust or the goodwill that people have on that industry. And somehow direct selling has not been able to get to that threshold of like the trust that it actually deserves. So, and the pure reason for that, the simple reason for that is that there is lack of understanding about the industry. And that's the only reason I see. And because of the lack of understanding of the industry, there are various reasons. There are other things. There is failure rate of the distributors. There is like distrust in there are Ponzi schemes which crop up in the disguise of network marketing. So the agenda is pretty simple. We'll review the direct selling industry journey in India. I'll throw some insights into what is my perspective on Indian academic profile. We'll review the academia DS industry, direct selling industry tie-ups across the globe and what have they resulted in. And finally, we'll try to align academia and direct selling tie-ups with the national objectives. So without wasting much time, we'll move ahead. Direct selling industries in India, 1995-96 was the launch. Direct selling makes a formal entry into India, and before that also there was some companies which were like operating without a formal approval. But 95-96 it started. 2011 Kerala was the first state to like introduce direct selling guidelines. So they were issued by the state government, and that was also like on the back of some troubles that direct selling saw in that period. And then 2015, and we are very fortunate to have Mr. Hem Pandey amongst us. So he was the one who actually chaired this fourth interministerial meeting as a secretary in the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, and it was actually a milestone. So a white paper was released. So Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, Government of India released the white paper on regulation of direct selling in India. And as a result of which, in 2016, so the IDSA and various companies were actually they were behind it. They were trying very hard since 2012 to get the model guidelines into place. But that happened under the able guidance of and leadership of Mr. Hem Pandey, and guidelines were released and notified by the Ministry of Consumer Affairs and Food and Public Distribution in 2016. And as we move on, so the laws or the rules are in place, and as Chetanji just told us that on 20th of July they would be in place. 2019 it came, the direct selling came into there was an amendment made in the Consumers Act, in 2019, and direct selling found its so much deserved place in the Consumer Protection Act. And after that, till now, 13 states have adopted the direct selling guidelines, including the bigger states like Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh. So many states have like adopted it, and I'm fortunate that Himachal also has adopted it. But it has its own share of ups and downs, as Bijon sir was also saying, and that is the only reason why direct selling faces such challenges is because of lack of understanding, and because there are companies which will pose themselves as direct sellers, but they are not direct sellers. They are money circulation schemes. We will talk a little bit about the education system, and I brought in a pyramid chart, which is like most commonly talked about chart when we talk about learnings. So it's called as Bloom's taxonomy, and Bloom's taxonomy starts from remembering. It says what are the various layers of learning. So what are the various levels of learning, and it starts right from remembering, understanding. So remembering is the lowest level of learning, if we say, and this Bloom's taxonomy has been followed worldwide. And it says that remembering, then we have the comprehension or understanding, then it moves to application of that concept, and application is the third level, then analysis, evaluation, and finally creation, when we contribute something novel to the body of knowledge. So that is the highest level of learning. Fortunately, unfortunately, our education system, so I am a part of an education system, and I'm pained to say that quite a few, like in very, very huge proportion, our education system is like based on the remembering module. That is the lowest level of learning. So in our early days, if a student can remember well, can memorize things well, so he'll score more marks. So which should not be the case. But now thankfully the paradigm shift is happening with people like Professor Hariharath Helm and people like Dr. Sahasrabuddhe and people like, there's one of my favorites, Dr. Abhay Chere, who is heading who is the Chief Innovation Officer in AICTE, Deepan Sahuji, and there are people who are like Professor D.P. Singh, who is the chairman of UGC, and people are taking a more practical approach towards the education system, and we are moving up the ladder. And thankfully, and when we talk about direct selling, why I brought this up, because direct selling has nothing to do with remembering. It has nothing to do with memory. It has everything to do with application. And from application, you move on, and finally you create a system wherein you can like contribute. And people have created systems. There are education systems which are 100%. So the education systems have been like prepared by the people who belong to various organizations. They've scaled up in there, so they have risen to the heights in their particular organization, and then they create a system to be duplicated amongst their groups. So direct selling is a concept wherein we move up the ladder when we talk about the taxonomy or levels of learning as well. So moving on to the direct selling industry and academia tie-ups around the world, and as mentioned also in US. So by the way, China is not doing that well now in terms of like, so last year it had caught up to like USA, but this year there's a phenomenal like degrowth. It has degrown by 30%. There are various reasons for that. But when we talk about USA, it has always been consistent. और हमेशा से USA का ऐसा रहा है कि it has always led the pack. It has always been consistent, and when we closely see it, so direct selling is deep rooted into their academic system. So there is a subject in probably all the MBAs, right? So I was searching through and I found a organization called DSEF, Direct Selling Education Association, I suppose, and Federation, sorry. And it consists of like more than 400 professors across the business schools of USA who are interested in research on direct selling, who are teaching direct selling in their organizations. And just to name a few, University of Utah has a specified like specialization in marketing courses. It has like DSEF when I'm talking about it. So University of Utah and DSEF, the president is from University of Utah, and who has set up this organization, who has set up this like organization of the academicians who contribute towards direct selling. And I envision something like that for Indian universities as well. You talk about American Marketing Association, which is probably the most regarded name in the field of marketing, you talk about the definitions, you talk about the journals, and all the marketing books you'll find. So American Marketing Association is partnered with DSCF. We talk about Direct Selling Educational Foundation, and then we talk about Association of Women Business Centers. There are a number of partners who have tied up with the Direct Selling Association of US, but I'm just mentioning a few because of the context. So Women's Business Center, we have always been up for like women empowerment, and there is a Association of Women's Business Center. It has deep tie-ups with Direct Selling Association of US, is a partner to DSCF as well. We talk about United States Association of Small Business and Entrepreneurship, again, because entrepreneurship, job creation, as Bijon Das said very aptly, that it's not about finding a job, it's more about being self-reliant. And our Prime Minister also talks about it. He talks about like being Atmanirbhar. And so it is perfect. It's probably because I have followed the industry since last 20 years, I can like very, very aptly say, and I have been it's not only that I have tried my luck at entrepreneurship only in the direct selling arena. I've tried on various traditional businesses also, and I can say that direct selling is one of the most easiest and most rewarding businesses that a person can self-employment, a person can take up. Again, we talk about moving on from America, and UC University Paris and UPEC has a very deep tie-up with the Direct Selling Federation in France, and it has resulted in huge, like, so you can see that they run a bachelor's degree called Marketing and Management in Direct Selling, which is a very, very popular degree over there. Again, moving on to one of the, and France is in the top 10 countries and with a very, very small population. We move on to South Africa, which is one of the, so Africa is one of the growing continents wherein the businesses, the potential for business is immense, like there in India. University of Johannesburg has tied up with Direct Selling Association for South Africa, and they have a collaborative program that runs in the university, and more than 14,000 students have like benefited from the program. So we can see that it's not that academia and direct selling have not been like, they've not aligned anywhere. So all across the world, wherever we see that there are so many countries wherein the turnover is humongous, wherein direct selling is doing great. So these are the industries wherein academia influence is always there. So I'll skip this part of the Shulin University. I'll just talk about it just 1 minute, that we are offering a subject in network marketing. It's been on offer since last 3.5 years. It's the subject that I teach, and it's offered as an open elective to the students. So it is like we follow something called choice-based credit system, wherein every student is free to take 2 courses of his choice in a particular semester. And so it's always been a houseful show, and quite a few students have like gone on to take on. So there, I clearly remember 5 to 6 students who did not go for a job, and they are earning pretty well in their direct selling careers. So just a quick alignment of direct selling with the national objective: women empowerment. Worldwide, 74% women are there in the direct selling. In India, it's like 50-50, but still it gives a immense platform for the women who want to work from home, right? And there are so many women who have earned huge in the direct selling arena, and we probably not name few people, but they are industry icons. Employment generation, so close to 12 crore people in worldwide, they work in various organizations, and close to 60 lakh people, 57 if I'll be precise. And out of these 57 lakh people who are involved with who are actively involved with direct selling, so I'm sure that at least 50% would be having some sustainable income from that. Digital India, all the organizations, and we talk about digitalization, nothing has taken up to digitalization like direct selling has done. Make in India, all the organizations are having there, so they have made huge investments, be it Amway, be it DXN, they have made investments in excess of like 1,000 crores, 500 crores into the Indian manufacturing system. So they have set up their manufacturing systems in India. Organizations, Atmanirbhar Bharat gives a message, we have talked about it, and it's always been about a job seeker. Thank you for your time and support. And I'll at the end, I'll just like to make a few what do you say, not request, but I would make to suggest, or I would like to seek support from three people. One, of course, is the government organizations and MHRD, AICTE, UGC, and various state regulatory bodies. I would request support from them to push academia into that. Second is IDSA counterparts, and I'm like hugely delighted to see people who carry the same mindset as we are, and specifically in this panel, I'm delighted to be a part of that. And finally, I would like to seek support from my friends across academia, because I know there are so many direct sellers who are a part of direct selling organization, as well as they are a part of the teaching fraternity, academic fraternity. So we can come together and we can create an environment of trust, a mutual trust or goodwill for the direct selling industry. And if we can make small inroads into the academics, we'll definitely come up with, so we can start very small, we can start with a subject, we can later on move on to the specializations in MBA, we can get into a move for network marketing, and we can make small inroads into the field of direct selling. And thank you very much. That's what I have to say. And I'm looking forward to a great blend between academia and direct selling. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vashisht. It's always, a good learning experience to hear from your experience. As we have already crossed the originally dedicated time limit, so I'll quickly introduce Dr. Rupa Johri. Dr. Rupa Johri is currently associated with the Commerce Department of Bharati College of Delhi University as an assistant professor. She's a graduate from the prestigious SRCC College and completed her doctorate from Delhi School of Economics. She has been a part of the Delhi University delegation that participated in the international workshop on supported blended learning organized as a joint UK-India initiative. And Dr. Rupa Johri is credited with the introduction of direct selling as a subject in Bharati College. She developed the course material involving principles of direct selling for the Institute of Lifelong Learning. So without wasting any much time, I would request Dr. Rupa Johri to share her views with the gathering. Dr. Rupa Johri.
Anuswai, it's my pleasure to be the part of the discussion today. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. You may.
Thank you. As we have restriction of time and so many things have already been covered by Dr. Kamalkant also. So I'll skip few of the initially prepared things, but then I would like to straight away come to the importance that is there for including direct selling as part of curriculum. So few things still would like to say, like these companies are often confused with Ponzi pyramid schemes, which are banned in 1978 by Price Hits Money Circulation Schemes Act, Banning Act. And so we need to fine tune the direct selling business according to these, to the guidelines of 2016. For this, the next best thing that can happen is formalizing its education by including it in academic curriculum of universities and recognizing its due place. I must acknowledge some of the authors whose research studies I have used for my inputs. They are John E. Spillane, Jeffrey W. Totten, Christopher Zemnowitz from University of North Carolina, and Robert A. Peterson from the University of Texas at Austin. So let's compare present scenario regarding education and direct selling in India vis-a-vis America and Switzerland. In Switzerland, the Swiss e-Learning Institute offers a range of online courses created by globally renowned academicians, scientists, and field professionals from Switzerland's leading online university, SMC University. In US, what is the status has just been discussed by Professor Dr. Kamalkant, so I'll skip that. And then if we look at what is the scenario in India, if we Google search for universities offering the course, there's only one university which is available on the site, which is Annamalai University in Chittambaram and Tamil Nadu. But I know for sure through Dr. Kamalkant that it is being taught in Shulini University also, and I'm sure there must be few more universities which are not available on website. Then the question is there any online course for network marketing? Yes, there is, but that would depend on our definition of the course. Some private institutes offer training courses in network marketing. If we are looking for a degree in network marketing, then no, there is no such degree. Such is the desperation of these courses that a blog on some website mentions that it is being taught in Delhi University, and they have put each chapter written by Ms. Romila Agrawal and me available on the IEEE site as testimonial. So whereas the truth is that we teach this network marketing only as some passing reference in the generic paper of BCom honors course. So the thing is that now we need to understand the need for formal education in direct selling in India. So the relevance of direct selling MLM in the present COVID times is that the main advantage is work from home. It is a model of self-employment. Till now they used more of personal selling with no advertising. Now is the need to learn to overcome this problem during and post-COVID times. Housewives, which form a big sales force, and most of them are the part-timers, have not been so techno-savvy so far. Now they need to be trained and educated to deal with this. And direct selling forms only 1% of FMCG or retail sector, even when it's doing business of around 15,000 crores as per 2020 data. So it acted as catalyst in lockdown to change the pandemic into opportunity. It can provide employment to 2 crores people who have lost jobs due to the pandemic. It's a recession-proof, futuristic form of business. Direct sellers need to learn how to use social media to the best of advantage in promoting direct selling. So people who succeed place a high priority on constantly improving their knowledge, skills, and experience. As the famous saying goes, knowledge is power. So we need to invest in education of direct selling and be on the right path to great success. So let's also talk about surveys and researches required before designing curriculum structure. The very definition that direct selling is face-to-face selling away from a fixed retail location needs to change at COVID and post-COVID times. We also need to understand the student's perspective of direct selling. Interest is fueled by the fact that colleges, students make up large and attractive pool of job candidates. Recruiting companies would like to know the reasons why students are or are not attracted to sales. Although personal selling can offer a rewarding and fulfilling career, many students have a negative impression of selling. The reason for this negative sentiment may be embedded in the widely held perception that selling involves manipulating others and is not considered a reputable activity. So better understanding of the attitude of students regarding personal selling can provide important direction for network marketing education. Such information about the attitude of students can provide opportunities for improving pedagogical approaches in university business programs in order to make career in selling more attractive. Gender, class standing, and family sales profession history affect the cognitive lens through which students, business and non-business perceive the sales profession as possible career path. So we need to carry out researches on these lines before forming a curriculum. So coming to what should be the components of course curriculum, important dimension is how to include in our curriculum to learn to modify sales strategies in COVID and post-COVID times. In MLM, old philosophy of personal selling may not work. The challenge now is either with word of mouth. Earlier with the word of mouth, the business was promoted. All they required was some basic entrepreneurial skills and networking. Now there is greater need of presentation skills. Now they need to compete with companies doing digital marketing using artificial intelligence, data mining, and search engine optimization techniques. Not only is direct sellers use promote and use and promote the product, they recruit other members in the network, and all this has to happen without physical contact. This is another challenge. The housewives forming major part of our sales force who are not tech savvy need to learn a lot to meet these challenges. So training in the light of post-COVID scenario needs to be upgraded, which cannot happen the way it happened earlier. We need to recognize that pandemic has pushed the industry 10 years ahead in terms of use of technology. This means more practical training and implementation is another challenge for devising the curriculum. At least the housewives should be equipped enough to create Instagram or Facebook page to tell the stories of their product. They may send pictures of products to their clients before reaching them. The payment now cannot happen as in earlier ways. They all need to understand how the payment gateways work and be cautious of taking precautions from frauds happening around. We need a proper syllabus which recognizes shift of old philosophy of personal selling with least public advertisement to new philosophy of using latest technology, which may help reaching a win-win situation for direct sellers and network companies. This may require some compromise in the old philosophy. The syllabus must include e-commerce, which will learn, where they will learn how to use the internet to maximize their business. Entrepreneurship, which provides insight into proven business strategies and allows students to channel the passion and creativity in the right direction to achieve entrepreneurial goals. Performance management, which will allow them to understand the aims of performance management and identify the standards of performance and to conduct the reviews of performance. Business English, where they will learn to express themselves and their ideas in the internationally recognized business language to maximize their business opportunities. Presentation and communication skills, where they will gain a mastery of interpersonal communication for successful business interactions. The art and science of management, where direct sellers will learn about risk management, personal management, strategic management concepts, financial management, and operations management, with a strong emphasis on building and strengthening students' potential with winning concepts and strategies which they could immediately apply to everyday entrepreneurial life. And we need to learn about various compensation plans and software available to implement these plans. Most importantly, we need to include business ethics, where they will learn about importance of basic individual ethics and organizational ethics. All earlier panelists of webinar series, including today's panelists, have pointed to the need of honesty and business ethics in this business. So the benefits that may occur to direct sellers in India due to this curriculum, that there will be more respect for educated and skilled direct sales people. They'll handle the post-COVID challenges better, for the growth of people into human beings and developing their skills, and they need to develop together. And also direct selling is in sync with the national objectives of socio-economic development and women empowerment. It's because of reinventing after COVID-19 impact, Amway aims to transit from high touch to high tech, repurposing its physical stores under a heavily scaled down on-ground presence. It's a strategic shift towards building an independent last mile delivery model. Vivek Chaturvedi of Tupperware India says that they are also training and equipping direct selling sales force with technology-enabled virtual solutions for enhancing customer engagement and drive sales. Companies have adapted fast, but let's address the issue of need for academic curriculum through this platform, and I'm looking up for the support from important bigwigs present at the dais. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Johri. Because indeed, I mean, we feel fascinated to hear, the academicians, they have such a positive thought about the direct selling industry and your zeal to promote the industry in academics. Very quickly, moving to Dr. M. Deepa Lakshmi, and just to share a brief fact, she is currently associated with the prestigious PSGR Krishnamal College for Women, Coimbatore, where she's serving as assistant professor in the Department of Commerce. Dr. Deepa Lakshmi, she has published a total of 21 papers on various topics and has attended over 26 workshops and seminars. Her PhD was in the subject Perception and Satisfaction of Distributors of Direct Selling Companies. It was done in 2017. And as we all know, distributors form the core of the industry. So it would be very interesting to know from Dr. Deepa Lakshmi, what is her thoughts on the topic. So without wasting any time, over to Dr. Deepa Lakshmi.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. I would not take much of your time. I'll just brief out my views. First of all, a pleasant morning to all the dignitaries of the panel. And I also deem it a massive privilege to record my views on the needs of introducing modern concept of business like direct selling as an academic curriculum, as it is based on the core part of my research thesis. Yes, as Mr. Abhishek said, my research thesis is based on the perception and satisfaction of direct selling distributors of selected direct selling companies registered under IDSA, that is Indian Direct Selling Association. Here, I would like to share my practical views which I have noted during my research. The sample which I've considered for my study constitutes nearly 12% of students who have taken direct selling as their part-time business. But most of them have quit the business in due course due to lack of knowledge about direct selling model. And majority of them are aware of only their recruiters or upline who have introduced them with the business, and most of them are not aware of the regulatory body called Direct Selling Association, that is Indian Direct Selling Association, who's steering behind the success of every direct selling companies. They do business totally in a different way, and they face a lot of challenges, and they finally quit and starve for employment opportunity. But nowadays, the need for employment is high in our country, and there is a need. Nowadays, the need for employment opportunity is high in our country, and there is a need to widen the market and encourage the rise of startups among the future generations. So by introducing the direct selling in the academic curriculum, the relevance of it and how it can help in widening the market can be taught to the students, and it should also be emphasis to the students that direct selling provides an opportunity which is open to absolutely everyone regardless of background, specialized skill or capital growth. The academic curriculum should not be limited to imparting knowledge, but it should also focus on how relevant the curriculum is to the current situation of the business market. And nowadays, the current curriculum is highly updated and more emphasis is given on practical aspects of learning rather than going in for theoretical aspects. So hence, our direct selling is cost efficient, flexible, and can be done from everywhere. And with the advent of social media, the reach that direct selling has is also very high. So including direct selling in the academic curriculum will aid the students on how business can be developed at low cost and at the same time have a wide reach. So the students will also be encouraged to start their business from home, as direct selling is very flexible and is cost efficient. The knowledge about direct selling will make the students more familiar with the way the market works, and it helps them to get a better understanding of how and who to approach for selling or carrying out their business, and how to establish networks that will assist them. The students should not only be inculcated to theories and traditional way of management, but also be exposed to modern concept and its effectiveness to sustain in the future market. So hence, encouraging the students to the field of entrepreneurship is incomplete without creating awareness about the modern concept of business like direct selling and the very role of consumer to create a long-lasting business. Thus, the need to attain a successful future depends upon introducing the future generation with the new concept of business and making them aware of modern concept of direct selling business through their curriculum. So in short, I would like to conclude that the direct selling education aids students from all socio-economic background to think outside the box and even nurtures the unconventional talents and skills. So it will also create opportunities, ensure social justice, instills confidence, and stimulates the economy. So thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me opportunity to share my views on this symposium. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Deepa Lakshmi. And with this, we now come to an end of our virtual symposium. And I would very quickly request our Vice Chairperson, Mr. Rajat Banerjee, to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, Mr. Banerjee.
Thank you, Chetan. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Great. Thank you so much. Well, I know most of the speakers, so I will have to start with Mr. Hem Pandey. Thank you so much, sir. We worked very closely with you for many, many years, and I think this industry owes you a lot for the guidelines that you ensured came about in 2016. Bijon sir, of course, you and I have been working together for many, many years. I think more than 6 years now. And it's always a delight to hear you. Your sense of, your sheer energy and your sheer positivity comes across very, very strong. And I'll not kind of repeat the various things that you put out today for us. Professor Hariharan, I think this is the first time I've probably connected with you, as well as with Dr. Rupa Johri and Deepa Lakshmi ma'am. So thank you, three of you, for your insights to this matter. Of course, Dr. Vashisht and I, again, we know each other for quite some time. When he was doing his PhD, I remember connecting with him about 5 or 6 years back, and I'm so happy to see him blossom into someone so significant in this field. You know, having worked in this industry for about 20 years now, and this is probably the first time I'm seeing such a concerted effort of thought leaders coming in together to discuss this critical part of it, because as all speakers seem to have indicated in some point or the other, that despite the fact that this industry has been around for 25 years plus, and it's a 15,000 crore industry providing self-employment opportunities to close to 60 lakh people, majority of them women. So it's a very strong socio-economic contributor. Taxes, of course, like every good industry, we contribute to taxes, good quality products, etc. But having said that, I think someone did also mention that, look, I think it was probably, I'm afraid I can't, I think it was Professor Hariharan who mentioned that this industry would get, a legal sanction once the rules are out. Well, there's nothing illegal about us right now. We're doing everything legally, in terms of the various acts that we are connecting with, etc. But the fact remains that there continues to be some element of of lack of clarity on this industry. And I think this kind of exercise where academics are involved, if direct selling is part of curriculum in universities, we heard speakers talk about whether there should be diplomas or whether it should be in the graduate undergraduate level, etc. Fact is, these are small building blocks that will help in getting this industry a better acceptability in society and on the larger society. So I think, many things are in place. And like I just did mention, this is a good exercise. Some very good ideas came up. I think, again, Bijon sir, your thought of, connecting us, the IDSA, to, let's say, BHU or National Law School, Odisha, but I think that's splendid. That's something worth pursuing. So, I think we are in a good spot right now. As the speakers before us pointed out, that the process of the rules is on. Once the rules under the Consumer Protection Act get notified, we will be in a different space in terms of acceptability, etc. But again, coming back to today's topic of including direct selling in curriculum in universities across the country is a splendid one. And I'm glad to see the IDSA team, led by Chetan, Abhishek and the others, getting their minds around this, because in the long term, this is going to be, I wouldn't call it a game changer per se, but it will be something that makes the pitch a little more better for us all to bat on. With these few words, I think I'd just like to thank everybody for their time and their views, and I'll hand the mic back to Chetan. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And with this, we come to an end to this symposium. And If it would have been a physical symposium, we would have invited everyone on the dais at this point of time for a group photo. So let's all switch our video feeds and we'll take a quick screenshot for memories and then we can sign off. So, yeah, done. Thank you so much. And we will be looking forward to our participation, to your participation in our future events as well. And thank you so much for taking out time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.